Here's your host, Alex Garrett.
I believe we're embarking on the two most somber days in our country, September 10th and September 11th. September 10th because it is true, thousands of people innocently going to bed the night before the horrible attacks in 2001, not knowing their fate the next day. And then, of course, September 11th, the day of the horrible tragedy, 9/11. So here's my question to really the political powers that be and ABC. Why have a debate tonight? Why not just let the country prepare to honor 23 years later? Instead, we're all wrapped up in what Trump's going to do, what Kamala's going to do. Tonight's the night. This should be a somber remembrance time for the thousands who died, for the first responders that gave their lives and are still dealing with after effects, those that are alive, from 9/11. This shouldn't be a time to debate and pregame a debate on the eve of one of the most somber and horrific and evil days in our lifetimes, in our history. I am tired of listening to all the radio about how, what does Trump have to do? What does Kamala have to do? There shouldn't even be anything like this the eve before we honor September 11th. We all know what happened September 10th, 2001. Well, I guess President Bill Clinton said, well, I could have stopped bin Laden. And then the next day, the Twin Towers are attacked and America's attacked. The Twin Towers are brought down by evil terrorists. I don't like the eve of 9/11 being the night that a debate is happening. I don't like the tenuous position I feel like we're in heading into September 11th. I don't like that these plea deals for the masterminds of 9/11 was even allowed, and that the person that allowed them is still on payroll at the Pentagon as far as I know. I still don't like that 3 years ago we ripped the wounds of 9/11 again by having a horrible withdrawal from Afghanistan. I don't like any of that. And I guess I don't like the fact that none of this will be addressed tonight at the debate. I don't feel like it. I don't feel like Kamala Harris, the vice president, who was part of the withdrawal plan, will be asked anything like that. I don't feel like she'll be pressured about the Pentagon cutting a plea deal that Lloyd Austin had to step in and say, no, we're not doing this. Because if they were going to do a debate the night before 9/11, then ask the current administration their role in making sure 9/11 families don't feel any safer. They've ensured that 9/11 families will continue to feel the wounds, the horrors, because they've let the plea deals go without any fight back, except for Secretary Austin. But why didn't Biden speak about it? Why didn't Kamala Harris speak out against that? We're heading into the eve of September 11th having a ripped wound from 23 years ago. And that debate tonight will not heal any wounds, will not answer any questions. And if they do, I'll be happily surprised. But this is such a distraction from the actual remembrance of what tomorrow is. Is that by design to distract us from what 9/11 is and what's happening tomorrow? As the families once again gather to remember their slain loved ones? Those masterminds should be rotting in jail or even gotten the chair at this point, not given plea deals. Afghanistan should still be a peaceful place where they were rebuilding after 23 years. Instead, it's now run by the Taliban, who's suppressing their people and oppressing their people. And I don't give a crap if Trump invited the Taliban to the White House. I don't know why he did. And I guess he had a withdrawal plan as well. But the Biden administration executed a terrible plan. It wasn't strategic. It was awful. It killed 13 of our own. So you want to talk about closure? This will never have closure. Even if the administration was doing right, this would never have closure 23 years later. You can never give these families any kind of closure. You can give them answers, which Brett Eagleson is asking for time and time again, of 9/11 justice, but you can never give them closure. But the activities of the Biden administration have given them more heartache than closure or answers. I'm sure people objected to Trump meeting the Taliban. I was scratching my head at that as well. But then the Biden administration comes in and completely rips open a wound that families of 9/11 still have to deal with 23 years later. This night, September 10th, 2024, should not be a pregame show for a big debate as if it's the Super Bowl. Tonight should be a night where families literally prepare to grieve once again on the 23rd anniversary of 9/11. And nothing more. So really, shame on ABC. Can I say shame on both campaigns? And shame on the convention, on the committees, for agreeing to this the night before September 11th. Tuesday, September 10th is also a sacred day. You know why? Because it brings back awful memory, sadness that these families got to hold their loved ones one more time and didn't even know it. They should be left alone to grieve tonight. The whole nation should be left alone to grieve tonight in preparation for a very solemn day. That is September 11th. You want to have one leg up for the families of 9/11? You don't do a debate tonight. You don't have this whole rigmarole pregame show, then the debate is the Super Bowl. That's not what the families are looking for or need. They need us to know they are still suffering. They need us to know that they're still hurting. And we need them to know we stand by them, not a freaking camera in Philadelphia about to do a debate. I feel like I have to shut off everything today because of the Super Bowl atmosphere about a possible lonely debate. This could have been done on the 17th of September, or the 18th of September, or even the 19th of September. But you choose September 10th? Why? These are the two most somber days in our history, in our lifetime. And I would say in our history. Because we have the loved ones that have to relive being with their families the night before the awful attacks of terror. Yes, September 10th is as massive as September 11th in the grieving process for the thousands of families who have lost loved ones. And I don't know why President Trump or Kamala Harris didn't recognize that when this was first mentioned. I don't know why VP Harris and former President Trump couldn't just say, you know what, this is not a good time. This is the night before 9/11. We all have to be in prayer as we are about to embark on this solemn anniversary. Instead, I feel like this debate takes away from what today really is and what tomorrow really is. Because if you thought the debate talk's going to be today. Oh no, it'll be the post-game show tomorrow. Imagine that. September 11th, the most solemn day in our lifetimes, and dare I say in our history. And we have to deal with debate recap then. Instead of truly standing with the families and remembering those who were innocently killed, those who put themselves in the line of duty after the attacks occurred when the planes hit the buildings, the Twin Towers. And then the UN General Assembly starts today as well. Yeah, later in the month, the big dignitaries are coming in. But you're telling me they couldn't wait either to blast an ally of Israel? They couldn't wait a few days before bringing up, I'm sure, memories for those on East 44th Street and elsewhere on the GA of what that day meant to around Midtown as well, around the UN as well? Nobody could wait to just let the 23rd anniversary of 9/11 occur and the grieving and the remembering occur. They had to shove all this down our throats tonight and then tomorrow with the debate recap. That's not how September 11th should be honored. We should not be talking any kind of politics on September 11th, let alone a debate. One of these two, or both of them, former President Trump and Vice President Harris, should have looked at the calendar, been more sensitive, and said, you know what? We're not doing this. We are not going to interfere with the remembrance of 9/11. That's why I say again, shame on former President Trump, shame on VP Harris for agreeing to something of such magnitude the day before the most solemn anniversary I feel like ever. It shouldn't be happening tonight. Today, September 10th and September 11th should be recognized as 2 days of mourning. Because that would show we're really mourning with the families who had said goodnight to their loved ones the night before on September 10th. And find out they're killed in a terrorist attack on September 11th. These are two somber days. These are 2 days of mourning. And neither presidential candidate who wants to be elected in America could think like that. The network couldn't think like that. The RNC, DNC couldn't think like that. We're a few hours away, and I'm not at all hyped about this big debate because it should be a big night of remembrance and letting the families of 9/11 grieve once again, not shove politics into all of this mess. And it is a mess. Just let it breathe. They should have just let it breathe. I'm Alex Garrett. We need to have one leg up for the families of 9/11. And the best way to do it is one of these candidates in the next few hours say, you know what? I can't do this tonight. I can't take away the grieving process of 9/11 families. I cannot. That would really be a strength of courage and a show of courage to postpone the debate and say we're going to let the loved ones and the families of 9/11 grieve today and tomorrow, September 11th. I'm Alex Garrett. May God bless our country, and may our candidates make the right decision before it's too late, and we are really in for the most sideshow debate, sidetracking us from the most solemn day in our lifetime.